for you on Monday?
Who's kicking for us on Monday?
Yeah,
Brandon.
I asked that kind of.
Brandon McManus. You asked that kind of like a wise ass, but
Well,
I can answer it the same way. So Brandon
The head
McManus.
coach said it was an open competition this week.
Well, then you need to ask the head coach. But if you're asking me, it's Brandon McManus. I didn't see it as a competition this week. I saw it as he's getting healthier. And he's had a pretty good week kicking the ball.
This will probably be, you'll probably find this a stupid question because of his track record, but I'll ask it anyways. Why the confidence in Brandon after the way he's kicked last couple games?
Why not the confidence in Brandon? People miss kicks, people miss tackles, people miss throws, people miss catches, people miss blocks. He missed a kick in the game. So he's kicking off really well. He's getting healthier and healthier by the day. Had a hell of a set yesterday in practice. I anticipate him having a really good day tomorrow. So.
I know you only have limited time, special teams, so does Haversick just kick off to the side or in the outside, and then does Brandon do all the kicking against?
No, they both kick. They both kick. They both have sets within the course of the week, and they both do kickoffs within the course of the week. So
you get a good feel for how Haversick is kicking then as well.
Great feel for how he's kicking, how they're both kicking.
Rich, you said guys miss kicks and guys miss tackles, but Brandon last year hardly ever missed kicks, right? And so that's kind of the bar. Do you think his leg has been a factor? Is there any chance that, I mean, it's not typical for a second kicker to be on the 53. Why do you think, is it just simple misses? Like, how do you kind of view what's happened the last 2 weeks? Because he told Dom that well, I can't say the word because I get in trouble from Packers.com, but he was not very pleased with how he was kicking.
Sure.
What do you think it is?
I don't think he was pleased with the miss, obviously. I think his kickoffs were really good, and he did make a field goal, in the game. So I just think he's frustrated a little bit. This is the first time he's coming off of an injury. So I think he's frustrated a little bit with the ball going, whether it's going left and it's a miss, or it goes right and it's a miss, or it hits the upright and it's a miss, right? Those have been the things that have happened. So, he's got to get his groove back, and really the only way to do that is in practice. And we're dealing with the elements all the time, which is a good thing for him, and he's conquering that within practice. So, again, we're going to lean on a guy that's had a tremendous performance up to this point, and we expect him to keep performing at a higher level as we get going. There's still a lot of football left.
What do you see as the challenge with the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, the challenge when you watch the tape is I don't see any holes. I don't see any flaws. The entire roster, when you watch all three phases, but certainly in our phase, got a good kicker, they got a good punter, they got multiple return guys. Shipley's been outstanding on the back end in kickoff returns. He's also the pass protector, makes tackles. He's hard to block on their kickoff team. They've got tremendous coverage unit on kickoff. They've played well. The punter's hit some big balls and has given up a few double-digit returns, but it's, in my opinion, it's not a flaw. They give up a little. They haven't given up a lot. But it's just they're a hell of a group to play against, and it'll be a good challenge. It's like most weeks, but this one in particularly because of coming out of the playoff game and the way we performed in the first two plays. The first kickoff return we fumbled. Second kickoff return we got a hold. After that I thought we got our grip back a little bit and played pretty good. Had a good punt return, but I'm kind of banking on us being how the playoff game went and how we're going to respond to that going into this game, how we're going to respond to what happened to us last week going into this game. So it'll be a interesting contest playing against a group like this that covers like this and is a physical unit, the way that Philadelphia Eagles are.
Rich, do you want to stick with Rome returning punts? Do you want to get Matthew back involved? What are you kind of thinking there?
Well, I think, again, all three. Keyshawn's been back there as well and has a chance to be back there again. But we think Rome's getting better each week. And, he made a hell of a play last week on the one that hit the ground. It was a tough win, but I think he saved us a lot of yards on that. And then he's really made good decisions in the red zone. So right now it's his gig to start off with. Good.
You encouraged about the kickoff return unit, and Savian's gotten some returns out past the 30.
I'm encouraged about some of the blocks that have been happening. We've gotten some pretty good blocks without getting hold the last couple of weeks, so that's a good thing. But as you look throughout the league, there's been some big returns, but there's been some holes called on a majority of some of the big returns that have gone on. So, You know, they're calling us with different things about alignments and stuff like that each week. So what you can do and can't do and how you can line up with a front foot and a back foot. So we're going to constantly adjust to those things. But I think we're encouraging that some of the blocks were better. And then Savion, as we talked about earlier in the year, you know, he seems to be getting a better feel for it, seems to be getting a better look at it. And hopefully he just keeps getting him better and better and better as the season goes on.
What did they call on Pollard on that? He was offsides, I think.
They called him, yeah, they said his back foot lifted before the guy caught the ball. So, but actually, you know, Mosby kind of, his stance, he kind of leaned over in his stance, ended up losing balance as well. So it could have been called on him as well. But
And that's all it is the back heel coming up?
yeah, you got to have both feet on the ground before as the guy's catching the ball or before he catches the ball. So they did a great job seeing that. But to me, we ended up still hitting a drive start. It was at 24-yard line, I believe. So.
Hey, Rich, in your other role as assistant head coach, when Matt is working through stuff, like he kind of took the blame on the 4th and 8, even though it turned out the analytics said that he actually made the right call based on those. How much of a role do you have in kind of trying to help him work through decisions like that and those types of things on the sideline?
Just kind of a sounding board, you know, if he has a question, I can give him my thoughts, and, you know, there's guys talking in there about what we're going to do, and, you know, it's rare that the 4th down comes up and coach is making a split decision. You know, he's got a kind of mindset as it's going on. I think it has to do with how he calls the 2nd down, how he calls the 3rd down, trying to get in an advantage situation for the 4th down. So there's conversation going on, but, you know, he's always clear as he's going through it, you know, what his thoughts are and what he'd like to do. So, you know, those things happen, right, for the positive or for the negative, but it's clear communication as the game goes on.